Hello there. Welcome to the Man Cave and episode, is it 3 or 4? I'm losing track already. Oh my days. Anyway, yes. Good evening and welcome to episode 4 of the USS Enterprise original series build. This is the 1600 skill version from Revell, Germany. And let's have a look at today's progress. So, what we have is all the little holes drilled out on the nacelles. Now what I'm going to do as well is, just for those people who have never built a kit or maybe not done anything at this level before, I'm going to talk about some of the tools that I use as well and give you some pointers around that. So for the drilling, I tend to use the pin vise. One of these little things. Unscrews, put a tiny little drill bit in there, and you can then hand drill all the little holes out. Now that is a bit tedious and a bit long-winded, and if you're only drilling a couple of holes, great. That's the perfect way to go. If you're doing lots and lots of tiny little holes, then you want something motorized. Oh. Now for that I use this fella, a rotary tool. There are many ones available, and this one, as you can see, it's quite old and all the information on the little sticker has worn off over the years. To the best of my knowledge, it was made by a company called Proxon. What you're looking for is a variable speed. So this one, we can set it from really slow up to really fast. And again, we have a little chuck and we can put a tiny weeny little drill bit in there. Now the idea is you want to go really slow. So you want something that's got a very slow start speed, and then that way it'll cut through the plastic as opposed to melting it. I did make that mistake. When I first started, I used the bog standard Dremel, and yeah, it goes very fast and melted the kit I was working on. So, something with a slow startup speed is what you were looking for. What I've done as well also is I've snipped off the main engineering hull with the neck. Finished the light blocking on the inside. I've got that painted white now over the top of the black, and I've glued in the internal support struts and just test fitting them together, having a look for where I'm going to need to be doing some putty work around the seams where it's going to join together. Although it has to be said, I have done a couple of versions of this kit before and it's not too bad in truth. So there we go. Now, one of the other tools that I'll be using is snips. Now then, yeah, just got it there. For heavy duty work, these things are great. I've had them for donkey's years, and they're great. Lovely for chomping through nice thick bits of plastic like that. For something a bit more delicate, if you want to get right up close, not leaving much of a nub, then you want a good pair of snips. Now, what I tend to go for is either really cheap stuff or relatively expensive but branded stuff that is fit for the job. Now, if you're cutting off really small delicate bits and you want a real precise cut, then I use these. These are my snips of choice at the moment. These are made by Xuron. They're the angled blade, and you really handy because you can get right in. Let's see if I can get the camera in so you can actually see. You can get nicely right up fairly close, and it gives a good clean snip. Now these retail at somewhere around the £20 mark in the UK, which is relatively expensive when you consider, hang them up there, these things I think cost me maybe £1 or thereabouts, and I must have had these for about 30 years. So there we go. No idea how much that thing cost, because I've had that for years, but it was a present, I believe. So there we go. On to the progress. So using the tool, we have drilled out all of the little holes on there, which is very nice, and that's going to let the light through lovely. And we'll get the brass edge parts put over the top of that when it comes time to it. I've also got the saucers light blocked and painted white, so that'll reflect the light in nicely. I've glued the bridge in place, which is going to be ready for what goes inside. Now then, what is going to go inside? Let me show you what's going to go inside. I have rescued this from the previous one, which got broken, and it is the Paragraphics bridge. Now this is a tiny brass kit that you build and paint up, and it is very, very small. Very small. I've dropped it. There we go. However, if we can hold it up to the light, there we go. I painted all of the little screens in using clear colours, so when that's inserted the light will shine through, and it looks very, very, very nice. It just needs a little bit of a touch up and a tidy up and a clean, and that'll get fitted in place. And that is about all for the progress today. I have started looking at the lighting kit, which has come from these guys, StarTrekLighting.co.uk. Just looking through the instructions for what I need to do and make sure that all the parts are in place. And I will possibly start painting this tomorrow. Painting, what am I talking about? What am I talking about? I will probably start soldering this up possibly tomorrow and having a bit of a test. However, maybe not such a good idea tonight, because yeah, beer and soldering irons do not go together. Trust me on this one, it hurts a lot. So that's probably why I'm talking rubbish as well. Then again, not much new to that either. I talk rubbish at the best of times. The other thing I've done as well today is these are all of the little clear window inserts. Now you may be wondering, why has this lunatic painted them all black? Well, the idea is, once the paint is all dried, I will go over it with a cotton bud, which has been lightly soaked in something like airbrush thinner, or possibly airbrush cleaner, something along those lines. And then what we'll do is we'll just wipe off the paint, like I've done on one or two of these so far, from the surface, and that will leave all the paint around the edges. The idea is I'm hoping to achieve the effect of a window frame. So when the plastic inserts are put into the various holes that have been cut out already on this, which is another reason why I like this kit so much, because it's already pre-cut for you. With a bit of luck, the effect might just well be the window with the nice frame around it. If it works, fantastic. If it doesn't, well, it doesn't. One of those things. As with everything else in modelling, you try, you learn. If it works, great. If it don't, it's a lesson. You move on. Then there we go. Thank you all so very much for watching my inane rantings. Have a splendid evening, whatever it is you're doing out there. Stay safe. Happy modelling, everyone. And good evening.